And what, in your opinion, what kind of jump started this bubble with the quarterback contracts?
Oh boy. Um, I know it's gonna seem a little weird, but the first one that comes to my mind is Joe Flacco.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was 2012, 20, no, it might have been 2013 or 2014. He got the first deal where he hit like $20 million. And then just from there, every year since, it's been about beating that next top contract. And as the rules have
Hmm.
shifted, as passing game has become more prioritized and safety has been more prioritized, these teams have been more comfortable. Like, yeah, sure, we'll give them 25. Yeah, we'll give them 27, 20. I mean, just think about it. It was what, 4 years ago, I think, 2018 or 2017, where Jimmy Garoppolo set the record at $28 million a year at quarterback. We're now at $64 million starting next year, starting 2024. So in 6 years, it's gone up $30 million almost. I mean, it's almost doubled.
And dude, I just looked up the Joe Flacco contract numbers. Just to give you all some like context here. From 2008, 2012, he was on his rookie deal, so whatever, right?
Mhm.
2013 got a contract extension, 6 year, 120 and like change, so about
Yeah.
20 mil a year.
That was the
And
first $20 million quarterback.
is a huge deal. 2016, a new contract. It was a 3 year, 66 and change, right? So looking at 22 mil average.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was back in 2016. That was 22 average. And now, I mean, we didn't look at the numbers now for average, like yearly salary for a quarterback, but I feel like it has definitely increased from that 22
Yeah,
to
it's
paying
probably
that.
around 30 to 35 at this point, it seems like.
And
But
that
yeah,
was
I think
only
I
what
think that was like the
7 years
first,
ago.
yeah, I think that was the first contract that really changed everything because I think that's when there was a huge conversation. I remember the conversation like on Sports Center and everywhere else at the time was, is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback? Because now we're giving him top quarterback money and we don't even think he's elite. It kind of just opened the doors, because then at that point it's like, well, Peyton Manning became a free agent, I think the year after whatever it was. To sit here and go, well, if Joe Flacco's worth 20, what's Peyton Manning worth? What's Tom Brady worth? What was Aaron Rodgers worth at the time? And I think it just kind of created this boom where every quarterback was trying to like reset the market with their deals. Then you had Kirk Cousins, who had like 2 or 3 years of franchise tags, which just kept, going through the roof. So I think that was like the first deal to me that I could think of that really, started the process. And then we can look at a deal like Deshaun Watson's that, maybe has now accelerated the process and might get us to that breaking point. Like that might have set, actually, might have actually just set the ceiling. And so there seems to be a lot of teams that really don't want to touch that number. They're like, we're not giving you a fully guaranteed contract, and we're not touching 64 million. Because what did Lamar sign for? Was it 50 something million? 58, I think.
Yeah, so I looked it up. I have a list here of
Okay.
the average salary by like quarterback, and Lamar is at 52 million
Yeah,
is his
52.
average
So
yearly. And then going back, we were saying about how the average, like the overall average, has increased, right? So Jimmy G listed at 17th highest average salary. He's at 24 mil.
yeah. So I
And
mean,
that's at 17, bro.
yeah, that's right.
Like that's
So
wild.
again, so that's again kind of what I'm saying is like, these numbers, teams aren't willing to sit here and reset the quarterback market now with every new deal like they were 2 or 3 years ago. Whereas like every time someone signed a new deal, it was to reset the market. Now it's slow, and even Lamar Jackson, it's like, all right, well, here's 52. Like we're not going to give you 64, but here's 52. So do we start seeing a little bit of a turn down, a decline here in how much quarterbacks are getting paid?
I mean, I see a lot of 50s and mid 40s on this list.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Derek Carr is at 37.5 million right now.
Yep.
He's
Yeah,
listed
that's
at
for,
12th.
and then for actually in 2025, he goes up to 46 million cap. He's the number seven quarterback, seventh highest quarterback hit in 2025. So again, that's kind of my point is, at what point do these teams who are always notoriously frugal start looking at this list? I didn't read the 2025, I only read 2024, but I'll read 2025 real quick. Watson's at 64, Josh Allen's at 57, a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, 41, is at 56 million. Russell Wilson's at 55, Stafford's at 51, Mahomes is still at 49 at the number 6 hit. Carr's at 46, Murray's at 46, Lamar's at 44, and Daniel Jones is at 40. of those lists, how many of these guys do you think are really irreplaceable on their team? Maybe half
Dude,
of them.
dude,
Maybe, so
Mahomes, best quarterback right there, and right now, right,
yeah.
he's seventh on this list of
Yep.
highest average salary. That's crazy. He's at 45 mil right now.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, at what point, for example, like when Kenny Pickett comes up for his deal, I'm sorry to keep using Kenny Pickett. He's just the first kind of quarterback that comes off the top of my head. Kenny Pickett or Mac Jones. Let's use those two. When these guys
Brilliant
come up for
Fields.
deals and they go, "Hey, we want 50 million." If you're the Patriots or the Steelers, do you look at them and go, "Yeah, we'll give them 50 million. You'll give them, 20% of our entire budget," or do you look and go, "I think we can get another guy in the draft and just roll with that."
I mean,
That maybe I know that idea was tried out before. I think it was like 8 years ago, where teams like, oh, we'll just draft a quarterback in the first round every year, and it flopped. But I think we're starting to get to a price point where it's like, okay, maybe this makes more sense now. Before it was like, all right, we'll just pay the quarterback we know because we don't want to get fired. But at this point, it's like, do we really want to use this much of our budget on a guy that's just average?
I
Or can
mean,
we just,
think about Burrow, bro.
yeah,
So on his rookie deal right now, it's at $9 million a year average, right?
yeah.
Dude, I mean, if you look at this like list, you have Lamar Jackson making on average 52 mil,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts is 51, Aaron Rodgers is at 50. What do you think Burrow's going to ask for?
He's going to ask for 64.
more
He's going to
more
say,
than
hey,
all, yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's going to be a huge deal. And then you think about, can the Bengals even afford everyone on their current core?
no, they won't.
There's
That's
no way.
kind of like what the discussion we're having is if you're I mean, look at the Cowboys and look how what they've had to give up so far because of Dak's contract, and look at what they're going to have to continue to give up because of Dak's contract. And you really have to rely on nailing your draft picks to validate these. And if you have any slippage of not nailing on Pro Bowl draft picks, you could really watch your roster deteriorate pretty quickly here.
Yeah.
So I do see the bubble. I do see it starting to turn down here. I imagine, well, again, we'll probably see it. You won't like directly hear it. You'll just start noticing that these contracts that these quarterbacks are getting are not as high. They're not record setting anymore. Just like you've kind of noticed, if you go back and now rethink about the receivers, they're no longer record setting. No one's like, well, this is 32. And then he immediately signed for 33. And then he got 35. It's now like, okay, we're all in the mid to low 20s.
I
So,
mean, and I know Burrow said like he would take a team friendly deal, right? But in the perspective of a quarterback contract, what's team friendly,
yeah, at this
right?
point,
Because 40 mil is what Stafford, Jones, and Prescott are making, and they're tied for ninth highest average salary.
yeah.
Like 40 mil is top nine, right?
Yeah,
Then you have
with their
Carr at
actual hits
37.
being way higher. I mean, that's what their average is, but their actual cap hits are way
The
higher
actual
than
cap hits are salary, right? Correct. And then Derek Carr is at 37.5. So you're telling me like what's team friendly though? Because Burrow is considered what, the second best quarterback right now.
that. Yeah,
You think he's really going to take what Derek Carr is making?
yeah. He's not settling for 35. There's no way.
No. Yeah.
Team
No.
friendly will probably be 50 for him. Because he should be getting 65. So team friendly will be
Exactly.
50 for him. So with that
Exactly.
money,
Like,
are you able to re-sign T Higgins?
I mean, Jared Goff is making 33.5. That's
Yeah,
his like average. You think Burrow's gonna settle for 33?
yeah, and that's again. Do you think the Lions are really thinking, well, we can't replace Jared Goff? They already did. They drafted Hendon Hooker
Right.
because they're like, we're not going to continue to pay our quarterback who's average $33
Exactly.
million a year. Like that's, that's it's a Nick Bosa. Is Jared Goff about equivalent to Nick Bosa? Again, so I keep using the same analogy there. But is Jared Goff worth Fred Warner and George Kittle? To use a
Right.
different money
No.
comparison there.
Right.
Could is he that irreplaceable? So
That's why I hope people will come out and like maybe someone did when Burrow said that. Like what's considered team friendly nowadays?
right,
But that's gonna be it's still a big chunk of like money there.
yeah. So yeah. I mean, I feel like it's one of those stories you won't ever like. I doubt there'll be a whole article written about it, but if you just watch kind of what happens, you'll start to see these teams really start, pushing back on it. And some team is going to get crazy and they're going to say, you know what, forget it. We'll just trade our Dak Prescott, try to move up, to a top pick and just draft a new quarterback. Because again, forget it. Like it's going to be way cheaper to do that than to pay Dak, $80 million, because that's where at this point that's where the market seems like it's going to go eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
If the average right now is the top average is 52 million,
yeah,
what does it
so,
look like in 5 to 10 years?
yeah, and that's grown over the past 6 years. It's grown. Again, the top contract was 27. Now the average is what you said, 52 for the highest.
No, for the highest, yeah, that's Jackson's deal.
Yeah,
$52
so
million a year average.